once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Big Scary Show. We hope you're enjoying all the really cool stuff that has happened before this point in the show, which, of course, as you know by now, is our infamous Round Table of Terror. And hopefully we are smack dab in the middle of the haunt season. You guys are out enjoying haunted houses, visiting them, paying money to the owners and making them all happy, and being horribly scared by all the horrific and terrifying actors out there, and getting ready for your Halloween parties, etc. We have decided that because it is the Halloween season and we're all so busy acting and working and doing all our cool stuff, we decided to have a complete free-for-all, no-themed Round Table of Terror tonight. So we put the call out. The first 5 people to respond to our call are on the phone with us tonight. Our free-for-all Round Table of Terror. Excuse me. In no particular order, we have actor from the Dent Schoolhouse down in Cincinnati, Mr. Damien Reaper. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. From Nightmare, New England, up in Derry, New Hampshire, actress Amanda Reevenge.
Hey.
Nice to hear from you. We have Mrs., I don't know, sorry, Jonna Bryant from Fayetteville, Arkansas, home haunter with Banshee Manor. Are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. We have Rob Metcalf from the Haunted Appalachian Caverns in Bluntville, Tennessee. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Hey, guys.
Hey, good to hear from you. And Tater. No, actually, Tater, the actor from Pataskala, if that's correct, Ohio. How are you tonight, sir?
Well, I'm good, but I'm going to make sure that it's going to be the last time you guys be on the air. I'm pretty sure of it.
We're pretty confident of that, too. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have no theme here tonight. I want to welcome our hosts from Rhode Island, Storm.
Greetings.
We have from Cincinnati, the unknown scare actor.
Greetings, everybody.
All the way out in Sin City, Las Vegas, Jerry Vane, the Haunt Rocker.
Hey-ho.
And I am Drew Badger down in Charlotte. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the free-for-all Round Table of Terror. Please don't all talk at once, or you can. We don't care. So basically, for a non-topic show like this, let's just throw out the first question. Halloween, you like it or you don't? Go. Anybody in particular can start that one.
I love
Well,
it.
honestly, in our line of work, I think since most of us seem to be actors, directors, whatever, I mean, we all pretty much have to love it. Especially since we're listening to your show, that pretty much tells us we all love it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I don't like it. I think it sucks.
Oh, Lord, we're being joined with Granny way too
Hey, now you stop it. You behave now. You listen, you old bag. You shut up. Tater's doing something. Thanks, Dwayne.
Great. Now we have 7 guests.
Oh, great. We have enough microphones. So, guys, go ahead. From the actor's standpoint, how did you guys get involved in the haunted industry, and how did you wind up being actors? We'll throw that out. Amanda first.
My story is actually kind of funny because I am actually terrified of haunted houses. Like, I am terrified to step in them, and I step in them now, but I had never stepped foot in a haunted house when I started working at Nightmare, New England, and started working back in 2008, and I was in theater for a long, long time, and I always liked horror, and I was like, hey, this makes sense, why not work in a haunted house? So that's how I got into acting in haunted house, and ever since then it just took off, and I loved it, and now I go to all the conventions and everything. It's great. I love scaring the crap out of people.
Are you still terrified of haunted houses?
I am, but now when I walk into haunted houses, I do a trick where I just snap into a character so that I'm not afraid anymore.
Do you go on the haunt tours when you do the conventions?
Yes, I do. I think the scariest one for me was the Haunted Hoochie. That got me.
That's a great one.
Yes, that was awesome.
How about you, Damien? How'd you kind of get started in this whole madness?
That would be back in 1998. A friend of mine, Andy Becker, which is the creep over at the Dent Schoolhouse, got me involved with Dungeons of Delhi. It was a charity haunt, and then I got with Bud Strauss for the Dent Schoolhouse probably in 2006, and then officially worked for them in 2007. And I'm still with the Dent Schoolhouse, and tell you about it.
I think you were the very first actor I met at the Dent Schoolhouse when MHC did their tour there in 2008. I believe you were either the caretaker right there at the very beginning. So,
yep.
So, and that was very good. I remember that very well. How about you, Rob? How did you kind of get started in this?
Actually, mine came from I was working at a multi-fandom convention, and I got to be really good friends with some of the haunted house guys that run Ruby Falls Haunted Cavern in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Love that.
And I ended up getting to work with them. Then I moved back to the area that I am now, a little closer to Virginia side, Bristol, Tennessee. And I ended up, they were looking for a director to take over the Haunted Appalachian Caverns in Bluntville, and that's where I'm at now.
How was it working in Ruby Falls? That's just a location alone, underground. How cool is that?
Yeah, it was definitely a really unique experience seeing how they utilize the cave for the cave. That's why I'm so happy to be where I'm at now, because now I get to do a lot of the same things that those guys taught me, because I'm in a cavern of my own now. So.
How about you, Jonna?
Well, I've always been obsessed with Halloween, and I've always enjoyed decorating my yard, but it was always, things I buy at Walmart and things like that. And about 4 years ago, I decided, money was tight, and I was like, well, surely there's a way to make some of my own decorations, and started Googling, and before I knew it, this whole world of the haunting industry and home haunting and everything kind of opened up to me, and it's been my obsession and my passion ever since. So I'm really fairly new to this. I've only been doing officially home haunting for about the last 4 years, and I'm definitely guerrilla haunting. I'm very frugal. Why buy it if you can get it for free? So I'm the one that's out, garage selling and going to the hazardous waste and picking up free paint and things like that. But I have a background in business. And I also used to do community theater, and so haunting is the first thing I've ever found that's actually satisfied both my right side and my left side of my brain, and I'm just totally obsessed with it.
And how about Tater? I know you've got stories to tell, but what are your humble origins?
My humble origins started in a haunted forest run by a Lions Club back probably 22, 23 years ago, and my dad took me out and let me and him play monster together. And he would always be within 5 feet or so of me to make sure I wasn't getting trampled on or anything like that. But from there, it blossomed into I was a trail monster, then I was a guide, then I ran my own scene, and then Granny came about, and the rest is pretty much history.
I never did ask, how long has Granny been around? I know Duane's been kind of a recent character for you, but, a lot of people know Granny that don't know the person behind it. But how long has Granny been on the scene?
Let's see, MHC is celebrating, their 10th year this coming year, so Granny has been around 9 years.
Wow.
She started the 2nd year of MHC.
And you're actually officially Granny number 2, if I'm correct.
You are correct, but Granny number 1 is, I don't believe, is no longer around. And
well, Maddie still is. I'm sure she's in the scene, so to speak. I know she's down this area now. She's no longer up your area, so I'm not real sure how that's come about. But maybe we'll find out one day.
Well, that brings up a question that I've was thinking about, and for Rob and for a couple of guests, I don't know if you guys have your own characters or not, but as far as Amanda and Damien and Tater, how did you come up with your quote-unquote signature character? I know, Amanda, you have Lilibeth. Is it Lilibeth?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Lilibeth the clown, and then I have a demonia.
And then Damien, you're just Damien.
Yes, Damien Reaper. I've been him forever.
And then let me just interject for a second. I was going to say, Damien Reaper is actually not his real name. I won't say his real name, but for the first 2 years I worked at Dent, I thought his name was Damien Reaper.
But how did you guys? how did you guys come up with your quote unquote signature characters? Anybody? Go.
I came up with them when I started in '98. Just watched a lot of Undertaker and listened to Kiss and Alice Cooper, and kind of took what I liked about all three of them and kind of mixed this into a larger-than-life guy. In 3 years, I would change them depending on what room I was. So he kept on evolving, and even to a point where I was a minister wearing tights, which was horrible.
Yeah, but the Undertaker wears tights too, so.
Yeah. He doesn't have as nice as butt as I do, but.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Then when I went to Dent, I was the caretaker for 3 years, and then I became a counselor, then a biker last year, and now I'm a priest again. And I cut my hair short, so it's something new for me.
You don't touch the little boys, do ya?
No, I don't. But I will take one of my crucifixes and shove out the rear ends.
I think that's touching them.
Okay, not by my hand.
Okay, since that voice popped up.
Keep Granny out of the sherry, please, Tater, if you can.
I'm sorry. She just keeps... I'll lock her in the basement.
Thank you.
Okay, Tater, what made you decide to come up with Granny for your character?
Granny was the first year MHC was around, a guy in my acting troupe was a part and won by the name of Lizzie. Won it, and we were sitting around at a meeting and trying to figure out who can be the next person to win the pageant, because we need to win it a second year in a row. And I opened my mouth and said, you ladies are scary enough without makeup on, one of you can step up and do it. And from that, which volunteered me into the pageant, so I went immediately to my grandma's house and got the blue dress that Granny still dons to this day, and I went to a wig store in the bad neighborhood and got Granny's wig. And then after that, I didn't have really anything. Night of MHC rolls around, I have to be in the pageant. I had a makeup artist lined up. They're doing my makeup, and I do the, oh! And I just look out of the corner of my eye, and I see Kathy Schifferstein shiver and tremble, and said, that's the most annoying voice I could ever imagine. And there you have it. Ever since that was Granny's voice, and that's who she was. So
that's fantastic.
Okay, Amanda, how about you?
My original character, Demonia, which is a demon zombie little girl, that got created actually in the haunt, because I just saw like so many little kids coming through, and it always confused me. I was always like, why are these little kids coming through? And they'd always be crying and terrified. So I kind of did something where I wanted to scare the parents and not the kids. So I made myself a little kid so I could be friendly with the kids still, and then still creep out the parents if I really wanted to. And so I started like looking into psychology a lot, and if you're a little kid walking through a haunted house, if you hear something or see something that you already know, you're not going to pay attention to it as much. So I started out saying these nursery rhymes where the beginning of it would be like a regular nursery rhyme, and the ending of it is just really, really creepy. Like, for example, Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater, choked to death and then I ate him. That's one of my favorite ones to say. So the little kid will stop at like Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater and not pay attention to me, and then I'll hit the adults with the last one, and then everyone just gets creeped out. And that's where she came from, and she's evolved over the years. And then Lily the Clown actually started at MHC, I think that was 2010, where I really wanted to do a clown character, and I just loved Halloween, so I just had like a combination of the tunes. And then I was in an elevator a bride and like her bridesmaid, and for some reason, just this accent came out, like a southern accent, and like I just started like ranting, and that's how she came about, and she's evolved as well. And it's kind of cool seeing like all these characters, especially from like other people, evolve and change all the time and become better. So those are my two origins, so to speak.
Now, Rob, do you have a signature character?
Actually, right now we're still fairly new. I'm still trying to find my place for one. The one I'm actually portraying this year is going to be patient number 83, because with our insane asylum theme, we gave all the patients just numbers, no names. And he's actually going to be a mute slider.
Ooh, nice.
So, because I've learned through the years that I can actually talk just as much with my eyes as I do with my mouth, just by the different looks that I give people. And I do have a lot of people that come up and try to break my character, especially when I'm out working the queue lines and everything. So,
how do you like sliding?
I absolutely love it. To me, that's one of the biggest rushes I've found working in the haunt industry. Because, I mean, it really, when I'm sliding, it's my time to let go, especially where I'm one of the directors up there. I mean, my days get pretty rough sometimes, and that's just kind of my let-loose time.
Oh, it's better than therapy, isn't it?
It really is. It's its own therapy, though, that's for sure. And especially sliding down in the cave sometimes does add a different dimension to it, too, because I've actually learned some places I can slide off of some rocks and jump in front of people and stuff like that, too.
Ooh, I hadn't even considered that. That's awesome. How do you get to spark off the rocks?
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It depends on how damp it is in the cave that day.
Wow.
And then, plus, you know, the dampness in the cave does create a lot of problems for the electrical we use in the cave. So.
Oh, of course.
And what about you, Jonna? Do you have a specific character or?
Well, this is the first year. Banshee Manor this is the first year we're using this name and this theme, and before it's just been, you know, kind of zombie. 1 year I was, you know, just kind of random characters. But this year I've actually fleshed out a storyline and going with the whole. I'm doing kind of the storyteller aspect of that's the character I'm going to be, kind of the narrator, and kind of telling the trick-or-treaters the story of Banshee Manor and why these different ghoulish things are happening and stuff. And I'm bringing in a lot of actors who have not done this before, so I have to kind of keep myself free to be the director as well. So it's going to be a new experience for me.
Well, you know, it'll just take some time for you to get used to everybody and have them getting used to you. But with your storyteller type of character, it should work well with the theming that I understand for your haunt.
That's what I'm hoping. I used to do, you know, living histories with the local historical society. So I'm hoping that experience of being the storyteller and kind of setting the mood and everything, I think that will serve me well.
Okay. Well, I've got a question now for all of our guests, and I know that, I know, Jonna, that you've got pretty new with your characters, and Rob, he's got his hands full, but for everybody at large, I know that most of you have your signature characters. Is there a type of character that you haven't done in the past that you would like to do in the future? And we'll start with Tater on this one.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, sure. Stay off of Facebook, will you? Is there, you know, you've got Dwayne, you've got Granny. Is there a character you have not done yet that you would like to do in the future, a type of character?
Oh, there's definitely more characters floating around in my mind. There's the son of the Grim Reaper named Steve, Steve the Reaper. I talked briefly about him at Fear Camp. Eduardo, the Latin lounge singer, the zombie boxer character. There's always new characters floating around in my head, and somebody can say one thing and it'll trigger a whole, not necessarily a whole slew of images, but some images and in a voice that would come to the character in my head, and I would write that down. So yes, there are 3 characters at least right now floating around in my head that might get premiered this season, next season, or whenever. The problem is if I premiere those characters and people will go to the shows to see like Granny or Dwayne and they don't get to see them, then they get angry and upset, and I don't want to upset anybody. So it's kind of a balance between creating new characters and being up to snuff with the new characters to rehatching some of the old characters too.
Okay. Rob, how about you? I mean, I know that you've got your hands full with sliding and everything, but is there a specific type of character that you would like to try in the future?
Actually, yeah, there's one I'm planning on hopefully trying to use for next year, because especially when we got the cave, I'm really interested in doing like this psychotic mind worker. I haven't quite named the character yet, but, it would be the mind worker that's been down in the cave so long that it's drove him crazy, and he's eventually, just killing everybody and going on that way.
Okay. Jonna, how about you? Anything on the horizon that you'd like to try?
The world is open to me. There's a gazillion things I want to try. Like I said, I'm really new at this, and I'm hoping to perhaps next year being able to actually become a full-blown charity haunt, and doing more inside things instead of just the yard home thing, and that opens me up. I'm kind of at a disadvantage right now because the time I have with people is very limited. So there's not a whole lot of time for character development. It's basically quick startle, give them their candy, and they're gone. But yeah, I've definitely been trying to flesh out, different storylines and different characters that I want to see in the future. Now, which I'll be playing and which other people will be playing, who knows? It's really open right now. The world is my oyster.
And it's a beautiful oyster, isn't it?
It is. Kind of ghoulish, a little green about in the middle, but, hey, it's good.
Sure. All right, Mr. Reaper, what about you?
There's so many ideas. It's just while the reviewers or whoever knows my character wants to come and see me, or Dent knows I work there, kind of hard to do different characters. I have a couple I've done for videos, like Blammo for the Journey video that we did, or Dent, which is a mix between Joker and Uncle Fester. There's Scar that I kind of had just a crazy person that kept on beating himself in the face with his fist, and that's about it.
Okay, and Amanda, how about you?
Yeah, there are actually a ton of characters that I want to play, and that I'm planning on. I have some few tricks up my sleeve still. I definitely want to try a mental patient because I think that would be awesome. So I could just completely just go insane and make no sense whatsoever and just babble, and that would be really fun, I think, to play. And then I have a character that I've been working on for a couple of years, and it's a sort of a necromancer character, which raises people from the dead, obviously. And I would really like to get that fleshed out because I think that would be cool, because I don't think I've seen a necromancer yet. But and then there's, of course, characters that I wanna definitely play around more with. Like, I have a doll character called Doll Number 52, which I premiered at MHC for the costume ball past year. And then my nurse, I want to bring out more.
Okay, I was just wondering, have any of you actors gone out, to grab a bite to eat or go through a drive-thru or anything like that, in character, in full makeup? Because I have done that before, and it is freaking hilarious. And I was just wondering if you guys had any experiences of some interesting incidents like that you've had.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I have, I think I do that almost every haunt night that we're open. We all go out to Denny's or like the airport diner near us. And I think the funniest story I have is in Denny's there was like I think 30 haunters and like 20 non-haunters, and they were all on separate sides of the room. And a bunch of us left, so it was me and about 14 other people. And on the non-haunter side of the room, there's a bunch of windows where they were sitting, and we all crouched down in the bushes, and all at the same time we all stood up and tapped on the glass right behind the people eating, and they all freaked out and lost it. I had someone hide underneath their table. It was funny.
The last year Transworld was in Chicago, Barry and Kathy and Kelly and Nina decided to tell me to go get ready. For some reason, they tricked me into going to get Granny's makeup on. So I got dressed as Granny and came back to their room. And then we went to continue to like a really fancy 4-star restaurant in Chicago with Granny. And if you can just imagine the hijinks that happened there, and I'm not allowed back in that restaurant, or let alone to be anywhere near a restaurant as Granny anymore if the haunt owner knows what's good for him.
I am absolutely talking to Kathy about this next time I see her.
Yes. Damien, you've gone out to eat, haven't you? You went to Steak and Shake.
Oh, yeah. Many times wore Steak and Shake and going through a drive-thru with blood all over my face and seeing the person jump past the cashier. Something happened to you? No, I work for a haunted house. Or walking around in the grocery store and getting some milk, and the little kids just sitting there staring at me. Of course, I had to roll back my eyes at them, but
Badger,
maybe
you remember, wasn't there an incident where somebody was coming back home from a zombie walk and they got in a car accident and the paramedics thought they were...
Oh, that was a news story. Yeah, I remember that. There was like 4 people that got involved in a car accident. When the paramedics came out, they saw the blood and thought it was like a horrible accident, but it was just a minor fender bender, and they were just like, no, we were doing something zombie related. I don't remember. I think that was in the Northeast someplace. But yeah, I remember that. That made the news for like a day or so. That was hilarious.
I remember hearing about that out here.
As I say, I don't remember where it happened, but I just remember reading about that, like maybe last season.
Yeah, we saw something about it here in Vegas on the 10 o'clock news, and I just started busting up because I mean, with the amount of detail they do for makeup nowadays, I mean, you could look like you got totally trashed and nothing.
When I do makeup jobs for people, if I'm working at a club or working at doing the zombie walk or something, I always tell people, now the best thing for you to do is to go to Walmart when you leave here and go pick up some baby wipes, and be sure and ask where the baby wipes and the Band-Aids are. And you get a lot of funny looks, but a lot of people say, hey, I'm going to go do that. That's a great idea. I never hear whether or not they do it or not, but, it's fun. I did a news story with the local NBC station here a few weeks back, and did the makeup for the guy who does the early morning news. He said he was just going to pull an all-nighter, and I told him, hey, just go by and get you some baby wipes, otherwise you're going to look like that in the morning when he gets on. He said, I might just leave this on in the morning and just tell him I did stay up all night. So didn't get to see the early news, so I don't know if he did or not, but it's fun. It's all fun. It's all good.
There was a time a few years back when I was still working over at Kings Island, and I've got a Walgreens right around the corner from my house. It's 24 hours. Well, I'd gotten a text message from my wife saying, I need you to pick up something from me before you come home. So here I come, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I go waltzing into the Walgreens, and the manager comes running up to me and goes, oh, my God, do you need a doctor? Do you need me to call the ambulance? What? And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm an actor. We're good.
I'm merely acting.
It's just the look on his face. It was just total terror and confusion.
You were at least you weren't a Shakespeare actor dressed like that. That'd be interesting. I'm trying to enunciate to the back row.
How much preparation do you guys do either to get into character, or how much preparation do you guys do for your haunts? When did you start working for this season? I'll throw that out to no one in particular. We'll start with the haunters. Jonna, how about you? How long do you work year-round, or what?
I pretty much work year-round, not feverishly, but I'm always thinking about it, always jotting down notes. At work during the day, I'll be, doing the daily reconciliations while listening to podcasts like The Big Scary Show.
Awesome.
So it's always on my mind. A lot of people get excited about the day after Christmas sale. Not me. I'm the first one out there at the after Halloween sale.
Oh, that's the greatest day of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Black Friday for us.
Yeah. So I've always got project lists, going, and always trying to mark things out. And even if it's something simple as, going to garage sales or something, it's always on my mind, and it's something I'm always working on.
Anyone else? How long does it take to either work on your character? Do you do that during the whole course of the year, or working on your haunts?
I know we start working really hard right in February. We usually take from November to February decently off, but like she just said, it's always on my mind. I'm always jotting down notes, trying to figure out how to improve upon the last season. So it is pretty much a year-round job.
Okay, what about you, Amanda?
For me, it's definitely always on my mind, and I'm always looking for new things for my clown, or just little things here and there, or even stuff for new characters that I want to bring out. I'm always looking for it. And also, I'm also a year-round actor and makeup artist in general, so sometimes I'll get gigs here and there. Like, for example, I just did about 25 zombies makeups for a commercial that's going to be coming out. And I can't say what it is yet, but and that was just the other week. So I'm always doing stuff Halloween horror related. It's awesome.
It's time to build your undead horde with the best rated zombie props 2 years in a row. You'll find them at creepycollection.com, along with the scary creepy clown props, the frozen meat locker props, the deadly doll props, the creepy killer props, and the deadly deal life-size bodies. Creepycollection.com, the online source for all your pro-haunting and animatronic needs. You'll find Creepy Collection props in many venues, from yard haunts to major screen parks, to movie production and even crime scene investigation. Featuring FearFlex technology, Creepy Collection is taking the static out of static. For your gore and more, that's Creepy Collection at www.creepycollection.com.
Damien?
I usually always do it all year round. Anyway, I know the guys from Dent, they start working on it in November. I've helped them sweep the place up, but I don't know how to build, so I can't help them with that. But I always have different projects. Right now I'm trying to draw a comic book for Damien and some of the characters of Dent. And
that's cool.
I had a band for a while called Sons of Damnation, which we're trying to get back together again. I'm always doing something as Damien all year round. I don't think I've ever had an off day.
Damien never takes his makeup off.
No.
Damien needs to put Granny in his comic.
Oh, God.
We can do that. I can do that.
Don't let Granny up out of the basement to answer that, though.
I was going to say, do you want me to unlock her? Because she can come back up. Right now, I got Dwayne's guarding the door. I gave him plenty of hunting juice and a shotgun, and he's watching the door for her. So, yeah, man, I got it. I got the door. Don't worry. I'm going to hump her later.
I know I've seen people like Granny and Damien and other characters at conventions and things like that. So you guys do kind of live the character year-round, so to speak. How much, and this goes out to everybody, how much of your character is you in real life?
None of it.
Yeah.
I think you're the first person that's ever said that. I think most people are like, well, it's only a little bit of an extension of my character.
You mean you want me to admit that Granny, the rude, crude, selfish, obnoxious
Blankety blank
woman that she is. You want me to say, well, she's part of me?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Just be honest.
I can't expect women like that.
The funny thing is that when you're in costume and when you had the appendages at one time that I guess you lost or something like that, and even the painted ones now, you got more chicks hanging on you than I can even think of.
And you know he's jealous as all get out, too.
Oh, I'm totally jealous.
I'm jealous. It's okay, Jerry. I'll put you in a dress next year for MHC.
Oh, I would pay to see that.
I've worn more makeup than any woman that I know, so you ain't gonna surprise me.
Oh, we know. We've seen your profile pictures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Break out the Saran wrap, and we'll see.
Reynolds
if
wrap.
still
I
gets
was
into
endorsed by it. Reynolds wrap.
Exactly.
Keeps meat fresh.
I think that whenever I'm haunting or when I'm in character, that's actually the true me, because I have to put on a very businesswoman persona during the day. I'm, a mother of 2 grown children. I'm just, definitely not what you would think. If you saw me in a lineup and they said pick out the haunter, it would definitely not be me. So I feel almost like my daytime persona that pays the bills is the character I'm playing, and the rest of it is really me.
How about you, Rob?
Yeah, I think that.
Oh, go ahead.
Well,
Rob, you sound. Go ahead, Amanda. I'm sorry you chimed in before I finished there.
Oh, it's okay. With Lily the clown is definitely not at all like me, because Lily is kind of a dirty, sleazy pervert who got kicked out of the circus, and she's really vile. And like if you ever see me out of makeup and character, which is very rare, besides the last day of MHC this year, but if you ever talk to me outside of conventions and outside of haunt season, I'm not at all like that. So it's kind of interesting. And then with Simonia, I'm not really like her either, because she's really childish and she's a little kid, which isn't like me. So it's really interesting to play someone who is definitely not at all like you, and it's also really fun as well.
Rob, you have one of those, like, drive a hearse or anything like that, or have some sort of extension of your character?
Yeah, in all honesty, most of the characters I've portrayed in the past, I think, have all been extensions of my personality that I suppressed during the day. Because I know one year when I was at Ruby Falls, I had to play a demented butcher at a butcher shop they had that year. And for like 12 years, I was a butcher. So, I mean, it was kind of second nature, but it was all the things that I always wanted to do to the rude customers that I got to act like I was doing all the time. So maybe in my mind I'm a little warped, but that's the way I look at it.
Well, that kind of segues into my next question for everybody, and this goes out to all the guests, not just the actors versus the home haunters. How much of your frustrations of the day do you use to take out on people who come through your haunts?
Does it have to be just the day, or could it be the whole year?
That too. It could be the whole year. I mean, how much do you? I mean, do you just really just let them give everything that you had pent up inside of you forever, however long, and project it against the people that come through?
A lot.
Yeah.
And we'll start with Jonna.
Because I'm laughing the most about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get somebody, you're dealing with in your office who you don't particularly like, or you're having a bad day with the boss or something like that. And I come home and I go into my laboratory and I get to, make all kinds of freakish, demented things and torture, foam. And so I take out a lot of my frustrations.
Okay. How about you, Amanda?
Definitely all of my frustrations pent up throughout the year, I take it all out of my system during haunt season. And especially on the last day, because on the last day, I just push myself. Because it's like, hey, I'm not going to be able to take out my frustrations like this for another, pretty much a whole year. So then it's like negative frustration going into the next couple of days after that. So all of my frustration gets used during haunt season. It's a great motivator.
Yes, it is. Damien.
It's a year-round frustration, and that creates the damnation within. So, stupid people, just in general, just pretty much the whole day in and day out, just frustration of every single day, and into that one. I'm always waiting for that one day when we open, so I can just take everyone's souls. So.
Okay. And Tater.
Yeah, if you catch me on a really bad day, then you better beware, because Granny's coming out and she's going to make somebody cry. Or somebody curl into the fetal position, and they're probably going to get complaints about it. With that being said, I generally try to keep myself in a good mood and when I travel to haunts, because I really, as much as it sounds like I like to, I really don't want the owner to get complaints about my acting or any of the characters that are appearing at their haunt. I try hard to make sure that the haunt looks good no matter what, because I don't like ruining haunts for people. But yeah, I have bad days and Granny comes out. Other times I have really silly days, and it gets goofier and goofier. Right? It's just natural habit to me. Channel your anger and frustration into your acting and make it part of your character. Seems to work the best for me.
Now, for people that don't know, you do travel around the country. People do hire you to have Granny come to a haunt for a weekend. You're still doing that. You're right. You're traveling now, going here, going there, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm still traveling around the country as Granny or as Dwayne, and maybe even both. One night I will be Granny, one night I'll be Dwayne. Some people like the switch up. Others will demand that I be Granny both nights. Last season I did do Granny as much as I could. Unbeknownst to me, I had strep throat. Probably got it towards the middle of October or beginning of October, and towards the end of October, my voice wouldn't stay as Granny's voice for longer than a night. Then I would have to come up with another character, and luckily I always pack, Granny and both Dwayne with me, so just in case something bad happens, or the haunt owner goes, well, you know what, Granny was great that night, but she really offended most of my guests, so can we try something new? So yes, I do travel around, and I am traveling now as we speak, getting ready to get packed and sent out to another haunt.
Very cool. So for the haunt owners out there, if you wanted to hire Granny or Dwayne or just lovable old Tater, contact him via usual methods, and maybe next year he can come out to your haunt. How far in advance do you get booked? I mean, are you filled up by MHC or?
Usually what will happen is the haunt owner, let's say I'm appearing at Fear Fair. Fear Fair will, when I'm done acting, say, hey, can we get you for next year? And it's been to the point where it's been a year and a half waiting on traveling in haunts that want me. Wow. What I ultimately do is I try to get a mix of the old and the new. So I will take some new haunts in the year and then leave the old haunts out. But the sooner they contact me and say, hey, I want you for this, is better off for them, so I can work them definitely into the schedule.
Amanda, Damien, have either of you two done any traveling to other haunts or worked at another haunt, or any desire to?
For me, Damien, you go.
Just doing stuff with Dent and I also did USS Nightmare in 2006. Nightmare, what's it called? Junction Nightmare. We did some stuff up there with them. I've done stuff with Screen Makers on Cincinnati, but all I can remember right now.
That's all right. Amanda?
I would definitely love to travel. In fact, I'm actually traveling at the beginning of the season and stuff. I do believe, at least. And then I went to Damien Reaper's when they had their Christmas haunt, which was amazing. And I would definitely love to travel more and see all the haunts and get back, because I just love meeting new people, and I love traveling, and I love haunted houses. So I figure that's like the perfect combination.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Do either of the haunt owners, do you just work the Halloween season? Like she had just mentioned, do you guys do like any kind of a Christmas event or anything else during the course of the year? Rob?
No, I'm strictly Halloween night right now.
So you're only open one night?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. This will be the last year, though. Next year, the plan is to be able to go partner. I have a couple of different charities that are interested in possibly partnering with me, and I'm hoping to be able to be open the whole month of October, the usual season.
How many people do you say come by in a typical year when you're only open Halloween?
Last year we had about 150 come by. That was only our third year, and it was 100% word of mouth. This year I'm doing a little bit of marketing and promotion, and really stepping up my game this year. This is my year to really shine and show what I can do, so that I can legitimately go on to the next step next year.
How about you, Rob? What kind of numbers, without getting too technical, how are you doing?
We look around somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 people a season. So.
Oh, now I feel really crappy.
Yeah, but you got to realize too, we're in a commercial tourist attraction location anyway, so a lot of people know we exist. So.
Well, I used to work at a
You're
theme
where
park.
I want to be.
Well, John, I used to work at a Cedar Fair theme park where it was not uncommon to have 30,000 a night in the park. So, you know, I don't wish that on anybody anymore, and I no longer work for that company. So there's a good number and there's a bad number, and that's just too many people in my opinion.
And I've got to agree with Badger, because I also work for another Cedar Fair park, and that's just a crazy number.
Oh. There is not enough security in the world to handle that many people in a park. I don't care who you are and what you got. But we're not here to talk about that.
No.
But don't feel jealous or don't feel bad about that, because we all start somewhere, you know. Everybody has started out at some point at a small haunt and worked their way up, and, you know, we're just glad people like you are still out there putting that stuff out and considering the move to go professional.
Right.
Folks like you, wouldn't, you know, go ahead.
Sorry. Stuff like that is what inspires what I do. I mean, even just the littlest, you know, home haunt will inspire anything that I write. And, you know, you don't have to be a big haunt. Just the slightest thing will, you know, if you've got the imagination to bring it out, then, you know, you can affect anyone around you. I mean, look at how some of the characters that some of the actors create are created, whether it be by television or anything. If you can, you know, I always say if you can dream big and you can make it happen, and to be able to take that step from being a home haunt to possibly becoming pro, I mean, I totally commend you for it.
Well, thank you. One of the things that's really cool is that we do get to, as home haunters, is we're able to put the whole Halloween spirit, you know, if you want to use a cliche, to the younger kids. Because, I mean, there's a lot of haunts out that you wouldn't want to take anyone under 13 or 14 to. because it's too in your face, it's too much gore, and stuff like that. And what we do is we start, in early evening whenever the little bitty ones, the cute, adorable ones that you just want to eat them up because they're so cute. We don't do any scare at all. And
Damien literally wants to eat them.
Well, I love kids. They taste like chicken. You get to
get in my bed.
They get to see the props. And to them, it's just, you just see their faces light up. And what we do is, as the kids get older and the night gets darker, then our scares get bigger, so that, whenever it's full-blown dark and we're getting all of the teenagers who are technically too old to be trick-or-treating but still going out, they have to earn that candy, You got to give me some screams to get that candy bar, dude,
Darn it, gonna make me work for candy.
We make them work for it. They have to earn it.
I ain't coming.
To see a 13-year-old kid, who's really, the size of a 17 or 18-year-old kid running down the street going, dude's got a chainsaw, dude's got a chainsaw. That's why I do it. It's hilarious. But we do get to bring that Halloween spirit because so many kids are going to Malloweens or trunk or treats or, watered down, quote, fall festivals. A lot of the younger kids are missing out on Halloween, and isn't that what we really love? So I like being able to bring that as a home haunter to kids who might otherwise not get to experience that.
That's a very, very good theory and very, very good practice.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jim and Damien, but didn't the owners of Dent Schoolhouse start as home haunters?
Yes.
So now they started as home haunters, and now they are, built up to professional haunt level of one of the best in the nation. So
that is
and
true.
And with podcasts and guys like you sharing your tricks of the trade and being willing to talk to home haunters, it's amazing. And I know someday I'll get there.
And you will. It just takes a little bit of time. You've got the right attitude, and you've definitely got a vision. And I see just by talking to you that you know what you want to do, and I think you're going to achieve that. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and you've got a voice here.
I appreciate it.
Anytime you have news, be sure and send it to us.
I will.
Hey, before we wrap this, I got a challenge for Amanda and Damien. So remind.
Ooh, I love the challenge.
I know, Damien, you're known for the Reaper character, and I know I did this to you last year as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see you, Amanda. You seem to have a lot of clowns, and you said you're working on a new character. Is that correct?
Yep.
Damien, are you working on a new character as well?
This year I'm just doing a priest. It's under the Damien Reaper name, but he's a little bit different.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we try... Do you think your new characters would be ready by MHC?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Damien, I would love to see Damien Reaper as a clown character.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh.
You know what? I'd like to see you as Damien.
Oh, Damien Reaper? I can't roll my eyes back in the back of my head. I'm sorry.
And you're a little skinny, too, so...
They made a whole bunch of those vice versa role-switching movies back in the 80s. That might be something pretty cool.
Before we wrap this up, Storm has a question.
Yeah, one of the things I want to know, having all you guys here, and probably a lot of listeners want to know, very quickly, what is the biggest pet peeve you have from the customers who come through and patrons of your haunt? And I'll throw that one to Amanda first because, I'm familiar with the New England crowds.
The biggest pet peeve... that's a really good... I think the biggest pet peeve for me from our crowds are people... I think one of the biggest problems is, teenagers. Because teenagers here, I don't know about other haunts, but they are really, really nasty down here. And a lot of them like to get up in my face and call me, hot and say I'm attractive, which is a really big pet peeve of mine. It's
Is that not what I'm supposed to say to you when I see you? Because I feel like I've said that, and I thought I was giving a compliment.
I was going to say, are you hot or are you some kind of hag-looking thing? I have no idea. I've not seen your characters, so.
I guess with my clown, my clown has never premiered at Nightmare New England, which is kind of funny. But with Demonia, who's a crowd favorite, she's a zombie, and when the guys like to call me hot, I'm like, first of all, that's pedophilia. Then you have necrophilia, and then have a stuffed bear. So if you count the bear, that's kind of bestiality right there. So they're hitting all the points when they're calling Demonia hot.
Damien, what about you? What drives you nuts?
Brown M&Ms.
Yeah, that'll be a pet peeve too.
Wait, are people just hand you bags of brown M&Ms without all the other colors?
If not now, definitely after this.
Yeah,
sure.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the unknown character's putting that on the Dent page right now.
Yep, already up.
Yeah. Just usually the customers that like to try to hit someone or disrespect one of our other actors. I usually can take it and kind of make a joke out of it for myself, but you disrespect one of my family members, it kind of makes me a little bit mad. So
you don't want to see him when he gets mad.
Is that the Dent family?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when I was doing the guest acting at Scaratorium, I saw firsthand what you guys are describing. You know, some of these idiots that go through, and you're paying this money to go through, and you're going to sit there and cause problems. I've heard about it. I've never actually seen it until it happened to me. And somebody in the industry came through, started shoving his buddy around into the sets and everything, and turned around, made a comment at me, and I turned around and fired right back at him. But I kept it in character, and I wasn't vulgar. And his mouth just kind of hung open because he did not expect that. But again, I wasn't rude, even though I wanted to, get in his face. But how many times do you guys have that happen to you on average in a season? Is it just random, or sometimes is it constant?
Constant over our place.
What's that?
It's constant over our place.
It is. What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, it's constant over here. Like, I think I deal with, because, and also with Nightmare New England, Nightmare New England is really big. Right now, I think we have currently 600 attractions. We are technically called the Scream Park. So we can have, I think our biggest night was, I don't even know how many people, probably over like 2,000 people, well over that. But it's just constant rudeness, and I would say on average 5 incidents every 30 minutes.
Jeez.
So people get brutal.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, we have all kinds of people come through and cause problems. Especially this area, it's a lot of younger kids. And we try to not let them through, but occasionally the drunk person gets through that ends up groping somebody, whether it be male or female. So that's always, kind of gets on my nerves pretty well. And then right in this area, we have a bunch of really dumb, racist rednecks that come through.
Hey, now watch what you say about me.
Well, we know where Dwayne got his start.
I'm waiting for Dwayne to dress up like Granny. That'd be funny.
Her granny panties fell right off of me, and my kit and caboodle and my nuts and junk were all hanging out, all flopping around like a tackle pole, just waiting for some sort of fish. And some lady tried to nibble on my worm one time, but I said, no, you got teeth, and that hurts.
God.
Gianna, being a home haunt, what would you say your pet peeves or problems? Have you had, as you say, you had the young kids at the beginning, then you had the older ones. Do you have any issues?
We've really not had any issues other than 2 years ago we started setting up a couple weeks before Halloween, and we got some things stolen. And that was kind of frustrating because, I build about 75% of my props. And whenever you put that much hard work into something, just knowing that some punk's gone by and grabbed it and trashed it, that's pretty disheartening. So we've pretty much waited. We put up a few things that we know there's no way anyone could steal them, just to kind of let everyone know in the neighborhood and people who go by, hey, we are definitely doing the haunt this year. But the majority of our stuff goes up either the day before or the day of Halloween, and we take as much down as we can Halloween night afterwards, just so that nothing gets stolen, because I just really, can't afford and, don't want, my stuff stolen. That's really our only issue we've ever had.
Yeah, I have that happen out here. Well, I do a yard haunt, and I've had kids right there in front of me try to pick up stuff and run off with it. So my stuff goes up at 5:05. I'm putting stuff up, and at 9:30, I'm pulling it all back in.
Yeah, which makes for a very, very long day for this old fat woman.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's what you do.
But the benefits outweigh the disadvantages of that, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And watching the faces of the kids light up and watching all the people hopefully getting scared as they go through just makes it all worthwhile despite the minor aggravations like that, I'm hoping.
It is. Last year, my husband and I, we were doing the final touches whenever a school bus went by, and the school bus normally wouldn't have stopped there, but they stopped and let all the kids, they just all, it's a wonder the bus didn't tip over, because all the kids just rushed to the side of the bus so they could look out the windows, and they were just hollering things at us like, that's so awesome, and oh, how cool, and that was worth it. That was worth, the 3 Advils that I had to take before I went to bed that night. It was awesome.
Well, unfortunately, time is running short, so Badger, if you want to wrap this up.
Hey, you never asked me what pissed me off. Now I'm pissed off. That's it, I'm out.
Well, now we know. Neglecting Tater.
So basically, Tater gets mad when
we don't talk about him.
Yeah.
Not that there's any vanity or anything in that character.
No.
So, Tater, do you have anything?
Nope, nothing.
Oh, there you go. Well, unfortunately, the time...
problem.
Look, I get aggravated when I see, and I've seen haunts open their doors for other haunted houses, and other haunters go through other, these haunts that open their doors for them, and they touch, and they pull, and they grab, and they try to steal, and it drives me up a wall. The props, one thing I can say, the props that are in the haunted houses, they're sweet. Yes, they cost a lot of money, but they're theirs. They spent their hard-earned money. Do not touch the things. You can touch Granny all you want. Dwayne, sure, grab his butt. I don't care. But don't touch the stuff in the haunt. I know these owners scour the country and flea markets and, websites and trade shows for all the things that fit in their haunts. They don't need them to be stolen or beaten up or broken by the time your haunt goes through or any haunt goes through. It just really gets on my nerves to see that.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, as the Unknown Scare Actor did mention, the clock is starting to wind down this edition of the Round Table of Terror. Any last words, anything you'd like to plug, any websites, as we like to affectionately call this, the plugs, we shall start with, and we'll give you the chance to pretty much name anything you wish. We'll start with Damien Reaper.
Just the Dent Schoolhouse, frightside.com, and you can also go to my site, which is DamienReaper.com.
Okay, DamienReaper.com. Very cool. How about Tater?
Oh, you can always find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Tater, that's TEIGHTR, or facebook.com/GrannyApproved. I am on Twitter as well under the same name, I believe. It's TEIGHTR. TEIGHTR at Twitter. So if you want to converse with... Now remember, folks, you're talking to me. You're not talking to Dwayne. You're not talking to Granny. Please don't ask to message them. It doesn't get a good response. So just for the record, you're talking to Tater, the handler of the two characters, and maybe, try to talk to him as civil as you can, because I am. Okay, never mind. I'm not even civil. Never mind. Forget it.
He's a really sensitive guy.
I cry a lot.
How about Amanda? Anything you'd like to plug?
Nightmare New England Spooky World at spookyworld.com. And also, I currently am trying to promote a zombie pinup calendar for 2013. And if you research Zombie Pinup Calendar 2013 on Facebook group should come up. And right now, we are also on Kickstarter for the time being. I'm not too sure when that runs out. I think shortly. But those will also be available for sale, so you can have them for next year. And who doesn't love hot zombie pinup girls? So, yeah.
Very, very cool. Thank you. Rob Metcalf, what would you like to plug?
All right, definitely going to plug Haunted Appalachian Caverns. You can find us online at hauntedappalachiancaverns.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter, and the tags on those are Haunted Appa Caverns. And definitely, if you're up in the East Tennessee area, definitely come see us. We're about 5 minutes from Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. So.
Very, very cool. And last, certainly not least, Jonna, what have you got for us?
I could be reached at, you can email me at screen@bansheemanor.com. And hopefully the website will be up by the time this airs, and that will be bansheemanor.com.
Very, very cool. We'll be looking for that. Well, Damien, Tater, Amanda, Rob, and Jonna, it has been a distinct pleasure for our very first free-for-all on the Big Scary Show. Again, we didn't know where the conversation was going to go. And
last. First and last. You forgot the last part.
Very, very likely our last. We'll see. Time will tell on that. But we had no idea where the conversation was going to go. We kind of let it dictate as it may, and I think some people will be pleased with the results. The majority may not, but that's another time and another place. But anyway, I'd like to thank Storm.
Yeah.
The Unknown Scare Actor.
Always a pleasure.
The Haunt Rocker Jerry Vane.
Had a great time. Thank you.
Late for dinner, probably.
Not yet.
No, not yet. And myself, Drew Badger from Charlotte. Once again, this is the Round Table of Terror on the Big Scary Shows. Stay tuned for more right here.